Many challenges to sustainability are an outcome of everyday practices, such as showering, cleaning, eating, and travelling. These practices, in turn, are ways of achieving things we need in our everyday lives, like getting ready for school, or making a meal and cleaning up. They are shaped by pressures on our time, things that we use, infrastructures, and cultural meanings. Many people and organisations are looking for ways to shift society toward more sustainable consumption, but generating policies or interventions that address the complexity of everyday action is challenging. Change Points is a workshop method designed to enable people who are interested in achieving sustainable consumption to think about the world in ways that a social scientist might take for granted. It helps individuals and groups to think through ideas from social theories, particularly social practice theory. The ChangePoint Toolkit hinges around 3 key ideas. The first is embracing complexity. Silos in research and planning often results in the wider constellation of social or material factors that enable unsustainable consumption being left out of the discussion. By focusing on how these elements are brought together in everyday practice, ChangePoints is able to generate deep and fruitful conversations about how to stimulate systemic change. The second idea is diversity. People perform practices in different ways. The frequency, timing, and type of cleaning practices I undertake are likely to differ from you. These variations relate to things like household structure, work routines, physical ability, and gender. Recognizing diversity is important to identifying high-impact routines and potentially vulnerable people. The third idea is tracing connections. Everyday actions like preparing a meal or doing laundry are connected to other actions taking place at different times and in different places. So while we might be interested in changing domestic practices, we must consider how these are influenced by people, objects, and ideas in different spaces and at different times. This last idea is the key to the ChangePoints approach. Tracing connections broadens the view of the direct and indirect causes of unsustainable practices. Rather than focusing on small, measurable changes to tightly defined behaviours, ChangePoints emphasises connections between household practices and wider cultural, political, technological, and infrastructural developments. As a result, using ChangePoints reframes policy problems and leads to different ideas for interventions to effect change and shift society toward sustainable consumption.